alone, all alone, all alone, Jai Sitaram. All alone, all alone, all alone, Jai Sitaram. Nobody home, nobody home, nobody home, Jai Sitaram. Nobody home, nobody home, nobody home, Jai Sitaram. Only God, only God, only God, Sitaram. Only God, only God.
I forgot that I had to pause the recording before it goes live on Facebook. Hello, Allison.
Sitaram, Sitaram, Baba, Sitaram, 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 Baba, Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram.
Letting ourselves gather.
Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram.
We are live on Facebook. We are live here too.
And hello, everyone here with us in the Zoom room. We'll officially begin in about a minute. So you can just let yourself come into sacred stillness.
I heard a little bird. It's a little bird. We have a little surprise for you.
Okay.
Yes.
So it is officially 11, and welcome everyone to the Soulfield Experience. This is Sunday, February 25th, 2024, and we still have a couple of people popping into the room. So if you see Nancy and I, our faces get light up, it's because we're seeing someone enter in. Today we're going to, as we always do, begin with our lighting of our candle. But in the process of lighting our candle, we're going to add a little something. And what we're adding today, if you want to put that in as the screen share now, Nancy, is just a brief opening into what we call the portal to the Temple of Divine Perfection. And so the Temple of Divine Perfection, just very briefly, could be called like the energy recycling center in our universe. It's this temple. We have a beautiful AI-derived image. Nancy asked me to describe the temple in detail. She typed it in, and this beautiful image is like almost identical to what I see shows up. And this is about about a foot above the top of our head. There's a portal, I almost see it like a sunroof in a car that you just go open up, and then this golden stream that you can see there goes to this temple of light. And so when we are in the process of great transformation, when we are beings of light, and love. Sometimes we need to move energy, and it's not for us to like figure out or have to cognate in some way around, but it's really for us to simply give that back to source in a way that allows for that energy to be reworked and sent out if it belongs someplace, or even back to us, sent out, renewed, and refreshed. And so we're going to do a brief opening into that, and we're going to add this going forward to our candle lighting and presencing, so that as we enter into, like, this soul field space is transformational space. And so when we enter into transformational space, stuff will need to move. And this is a way of just giving the stuff that we're complete with, the stuff that's done, the stuff that has, no reason to stick around. We just give it permission to move. Yeah.
Yeah. And that includes anything that you've picked up from coworkers, people, anything that, because you are such a beacon of light, you are attracting all this energy. So this is the place where you surrender all of that and release it and let this temple recycle it and do its best.
It's sort of like,
whatever it needs to.
oh, sorry to interrupt, Nancy.
Go for it.
It's like if we were here in person, we might smudge everybody with some sage, or use a Tibetan bowl or something to clear the field and open up. This is the way we're doing this together. So it's our version of really like smudging ourselves. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So maybe we can
Yeah.
stop the screen share, and then we'll move on. And
Mhm.
we'll make a longer video that you can access on the website about this process. So we're not going into great detail about it, but if you're curious about it, there'll be a longer video there. Somewhere it'll show up in the next couple weeks.
Yes. All right. So if you have your candles ready, let's open the portal with open the soul field. So as we are entering into a sacred and transformative space, and because each of us is a beacon of light, other might give us energies that needs to be transmuted or transported. So it is with the simplicity of our intentions that we open the portal of divine perfection, where these energies can be recycled and organized in divine order, so energy can move with ease and grace. As we enter the soul field, you may feel yourself being smudged or lifted, and now and during our time together. So welcome to the soul field. Mm. Mm. And we're going to start with our opening prayers.
We come with grateful, reverent, and open hearts to drink from the deep well of our eternal nature. As we dive into the soul field together, we are held in a sacred and holy embrace by the source of all love, light, and grace. In this eternal now, we invoke our unique pathways to source and to the beings of love light that support our divine evolving. We allow our mind, body, spirit to expand into the holy realms where magic and miracles are commonplace. As we minister to ourselves, we minister to one another and our family humanity. We recognize we are one in the holy wholeness. We allow all we do here today to ripple out through our lives as a living witness of divine grace for the benefit of all our relations.
Venimos con corazones agradecidos, reverentes y abiertos a beber del profundo pozo de nuestra naturaleza eterna. A medida que nos sumergimos juntos en el campo del alma, somos sagradamente acogidos por la fuente de todo amor, luz y gracia divina. En este ahora eterno, pedimos que se abran nuestros caminos hacia el Creador, junto con los seres de amor y luz que apoyan nuestra evolución divina. Permitimos que nuestra mente, cuerpo y espíritu se expandan hacia los reinos sagrados, donde la magia y los milagros ocurren constantemente. A medida de que atendemos nuestras propias necesidades, asimismo atendemos el uno al otro y a toda nuestra familia humana. reconociendo que somos uno en la totalidad sagrada. Permitimos que todo lo que se haga aquí hoy continúe fluyendo en nuestras vidas como un testimonio vivo de la gracia divina para el beneficio de todos.
Mm.
That is beautiful.
So today, as some of you know, we're diving into a sort of starting point of a little mini series, and the mini series is going to be focused on soul sovereignty. And we'll talk a little bit about what that is today. But in order to kind of set the field and start opening our energies to this, and also to kind of be a force of continued alignment as we move through this series, we're going to utilize a series of affirmations. And we're going to put this beautiful image into the chat thread. So if you want to look at the chat thread, you'll see beautiful image with these affirmations on them. And but you don't have to be looking at it, because we're going to do this call and response style. So we'll say an affirmation and then everyone will say it. So it'll be like that. We're going to amplify the affirmation by using either the thymus thump, which we have taught you before, or the ear rub, which we have not, and you can choose which you want. The ear rub is simply coming to the earlobe and rubbing all around from the top to the bottom, and you kind of like pull or rub just in the way that feels good. So as much pressure as feels good. We have acupuncture points on the earlobe that correspond with every meridian in the body. So when we're rubbing the earlobes in this way, we're waking up the flows of energy in the body, which potentiates the affirmation. So this can work with any kind of information. So I will be doing ear rub, and you could do both ears. And Nancy's going to be doing thymus thump, and you can alternate between the two or pick whichever one feels good for you. And we'll begin.
Yes. So I'll say one affirmation, and then you respond to the repeating the same affirmation, and then Luminari will take a turn and so on. I am divine love embodied.
I am divine love embodied. I am the cosmic union of spirit and matter.
I am the cosmic union of spirit and matter. The seed of the entire universe lives within my soul.
The seed of the entire universe lives within my soul. My soul is sovereign in this dimension on all levels.
My soul is sovereign in this dimension and on all levels.
You can probably feel there might be yawns, there might be a sense of like, oh, it's kind of like coming into the energetic of that. And so we want to just briefly talk about what we mean by soul sovereignty. There's a funny little sidebar. Nancy and I, like, we can say this word, but neither of us could spell it. We were just like, whenever we were trying to write that word, we could not spell it to save our lives.
Thank God for
So
autocorrect.
like that's a little invitation, like, okay, if you're going to do this, you got to really calibrate. So we're going to work on spelling the word sovereignty. But what we mean by soul sovereignty is really that we're giving our soul the supreme power to sort of be the organizing principle. So we come into this dimension, and it's very rare that we are born into a dynamic field where people are actively encouraging the soul to be the primary organizing principle. We usually are organized around culture or family, and maybe morals sometimes, maybe even religious principles, but not necessarily the innate wisdom of soul that we carry through, that is our eternal nature. And when we speak of soul sovereignty, it's not that we're ignoring the other dimensions, right? So We have a field of mental consciousness. We have a field of emotional consciousness. We have body consciousness. We have lineage that has wisdom for us. We have collective consciousness that helps us understand how to operate in this dimension. But it's really about sort of like putting all of those at a round table. They all have voice, but the soul is sovereign. The soul is like seated in the sovereign chair, right? So you could think of like, I think of like King Arthur in the Round Table, right? You know, but the soul is in that position.
And sometimes we give our egos the power or authority in our decisions. And to be guided by soul is to move away from negative attachments or expectations or conditioning or programs. So the way that when we're separate from our soul sovereignty, when we're not being guided by our soul, it shows up in victimhood. It shows up in conditioning. It shows up in overwhelm and not believing that we can co-create with the universe. I don't know if you have felt this past week or 2 weeks, so much overwhelm, so much emotional loads on us. And I think that when we are sometimes negatively attached or what is the difference? Expectancy versus expectations we were talking about. We can sort of move away from allowing soul to be our guiding force, our power and authority. Do you want to talk a little bit more about expectancy versus expectation when our
We're sort of talking about like why it's important to be in soul sovereignty here. Like Nancy speaking to like when we're not in that place, when soul is not in the driver's seat, we find ourselves in these places, feeling victimized, feeling at the mercy of our conditioning, etc. And one of the other things that happens when we're not in that place of soul sovereignty is we can tend to find ourselves having a lack of hope or even a dread or even a sense of like when something difficult happens, something that we don't expect, we can be like, oh my gosh. And it can jar us and make us think like a series of difficulty is coming, or we feel, you know, just our energy starts to close. We feel fear come in. When we're in soul sovereignty, we have a different kind of expectancy. There's this energy of like somehow knowing that there is a divine unfolding, somehow knowing that divine love is orchestrating even this, or available in even this, or accessible for us to tap into as a resource in the midst of this, whatever this difficult thing is. So we shift from this like overwhelm about what's happening, this dread about what's happening, into having this expectancy, this sense about like something beautiful is going to come, something magical is trying to be created. There's something coming. And so this is part of why, you know, being able to attune and put soul in the sovereign seat starts to help us maneuver through life in a way where we are in the seat of co-creating and co-creating beauty and receiving divine support, right? That is different than when we feel like we're sort of left to our own mental devices, or we're just in the emotions of what's happening, or we only have our conditioning to count on, or we only have like what we've already seen happen versus what can happen when we enter into soul, which is creation comes in, right? The very seed of creation comes in, and then who knows what's going to happen.
I know that for me, I was raised to always expect the worst to happen and be prepared for that. If I can predict what's going to happen, I can prepare for the worst to happen, then I can be at ease. And what we're talking about here is not to pretend that, oh, this bad thing is happening, oh, I'm happy. It's not about that. It's about understanding that even within this suffering, we can let go of the attachment of how it should be. And so, for example, my daughter is more of like, so many great things can happen, so many things, there's so many opportunities. And I'm more of like, well, so many bad things can happen, right? And so which one is the right way or the wrong way? It's not really about that. It's more of like, what are we co-creating with soul, and who is really guiding? My conditioning might say prepare for the worst, but am I going to let that be the guide for me? Am I going to let that be the authority for me? Or am I going to have faith, have hope, and maybe try to see the good things that may be happening and things that may feel discomfort or uncomfortable for me or might make me feel afraid? And so what we want to do is not necessarily shame us or make us feel bad for feeling a certain way. What we want to do is create a sense of hope, love, faith in everything that we do, so we can experience life with curiosity, with openness. You know, if something bad is happening, like I got into a car accident, cancel. Um, it's like, okay, what is this? You know, I could play it as like, oh, this is horrible for me, you know, this always happens to me. I could go into that conditioning, or I can go with curiosity. What does this mean? Okay, this is not pleasant, but what does this mean? And how did I co-create this? And how can I move through this with trust and faith and hope and ease, you know?
And even just the curiosity of like, what is trying to happen here? Right? What is this? Right? So when we're in soul sovereignty and when we're seated in that place of our divine connection, we really open into the field of divine love, and we understand that as essential and operating through all things. Like all of us have had the experience when we tap into the sacred in some way or another, where we feel that kind of love that doesn't have words. It's just all encompassing, all embracing. It sometimes will bring you to tears, right? We feel that. We've had those kinds of moments of spiritual contact. So we know that soul is connected to that. Like that's the home that our soul knows, that divine love. And so what we do when we're in soul sovereignty, when a difficult life experience happens, is we are plugging, like by the very nature of calling soul into the space, we are plugging that divine love and grace into what's ever happening. And so we receive sacred support. Whatever's happening receives sacred support. There's a way in which the energies really move up into service to glorify. That's the language, to really bring into the highest beauty whatever's occurring. Bring into, sometimes what's occurring is something that's about revelation. You know, sometimes a car accident happens because it shakes something out of our system that needed to leave, or it moves us into connection with a particular healer that is like essential on our journey, or right. So there's any number of magical, miraculous, beautiful co-creations that happen. And when we put soul in the sovereign seat, it's like a beacon call that says, okay, what love is here? What part of the eternal nature can be brought into beauty and wholeness right now? Right.
And when we are attached to an outcome or the ways it should be according to our limited knowledge and experience, then we're not becoming a co-creator, we're controlling the situation. And we get into our victimhood or our programs. And it's not just our personal programs, it could be collectively. We all as a society, we may feel victimized by something or someone, and that can create a feeling of overwhelm, or even physically, something happened physically in our bodies can get us overwhelmed and sort of steer us away from the power that we have to co-create with soul. And what we're really wanting to do, we are creating sort of like a series where we'll touch deeper into each of these aspects so we can really learn how to co-create with soul, how to feel like we are in authority, we as co-creators with soul, how we can let soul take the wheel, and say, okay, show me what's next, without attachments, with complete surrender and faith and hope and love.
This is sort of our overview today. So we've given you tons of concepts that we're going to break down over time. And so if you're feeling at all overwhelmed, even by everything we're sharing, just understand like this is the overview. This is the sort of like big picture roadmap of where we're headed. And today we're going to focus in specifically on connecting in divine love. And that'll be part of what we do in our meditation. And
Yes.
we have something we'd like to share about to that end.
Yeah. So before we go into meditation, open yourself up to receive this reading. And this reading is actually a very popular one. You probably are familiar with this reading. This reading comes from the Christian Bible, from the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians. So, ready? Love is patient and kind. It is not jealous, conceited, or proud. Love is not ill-mannered, selfish, or irritable. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Love never gives up, and its faith, hope, and patience never fail. Love is eternal. There are inspired messages, but they're temporary. There are gifts of speaking in strange tongues, but they will cease. There is knowledge, but it will pass. For our gifts of knowledge and of inspired messages are only partial. But when what is perfect comes, what is partial will disappear. What I know now, it's only partial. Then it will be complete. As complete as God's knowledge of me. Meanwhile, these three remain: faith, hope, love, and the greatest of these is love.
And so we allow awareness to drop inward if it hasn't already. Feeling a connection to breath. Feeling these exquisite words landing in your biospiritual system, awakening a remembrance in your cells. Each breath an invitation to open into divine love. Feeling yourself come more and more into presence in the body temple. Feeling a connection all the way into the pelvic bowl as you bring breath into the low belly. Feeling your entire body surrendering into the earth's embrace. Feeling that gravity, her pull on you. She wants you here. And you allow yourself to come into greater connection, greater communion with the earth herself. Feeling yourself drawing and receiving essential energy and nutrients. The love of earth for you in all that's provided. The way her body cares for you. And open to even greater support here. Becoming aware of the crown center. It may spontaneously be opening on its own. You may feel sensation there. As you become aware of the crown center, feel yourself gently breathing alive. This center at the top of the head that connects us, links us to the source of all love and light, links you to your soul star, the energy about a foot above the top of your head, this beautiful center of light. Just feel yourself making a connection, feeling your relationship with your own soul star. As you breathe and connect, you'll feel nourishment. It feels supportive. And you allow yourself to feel that, to receive that nourishment. And with the simplicity of your intention, you intend that the light from your soul star, the light of your eternal nature, start to shine down on you like little bits of golden silver glitter light, little baby stars floating down, showering you and entering your body through that crown opening. And this beautiful silvery white gold light flows into your body, illuminating every cell, every molecule, as it flows. And it flows down through the center of the body. And as it does, those parts that it touched, they start to glow. So your head is glowing. Your throat is glowing. The back of your neck is glowing. The whole of your chest, shoulders, upper arms glowing with the light of your soul. The mid-belly, mid-back, mid-arms glowing. The low belly, low back, hips glowing. And this soul light keeps moving even beyond the pelvic floor. The legs begin to glow with the soul light that's pouring in. And that soul light goes deep into the earth, that connection you made with earth. You feel that soul light flowing all the way through. Anchoring. When you feel that, like there's an exciting energy that happens when the soul goes all the way into the earth. Like they love it. They're like, whoa, we're here together. And this rush of beauty starts to come into the body. And you allow yourselves to receive that beauty, that exquisite mixture of embodied soul light dancing on the earth plane. Each breath, a deep receptivity. Allowing your whole biospiritual system to be recalibrated, reintegrated, soul embodied, connected to earth. Allowing yourself to rest here in the deep receiving, in the deep nourishment. And as you rest here, we'll let some music play. And just stay in the internal receiving.
Sitara, Sitara, Sitaram Jai, Sitaram, 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 Sitaram Jai, Sitaram, 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 Sitaram Jai, Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram Jai, Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. All alone, all alone, all alone, Jai Sitaram. All alone, all alone, all alone, Jai Sitaram. Nobody home, nobody home, nobody home, Jai Sitaram. Nobody home, nobody home, nobody home, Jai Sitaram. Holy God, holy God, holy God, Sitaram. Holy God, holy God, holy God, Sitaram, 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 Sitaram Baba, Sitaram, 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 Sitaram Baba, Sitaram, 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 Sitaram Jaya, Sitaram, 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 Sitaram Jai, Sitaram.
And if you're not already, just starting to make a gentle transition. The mantra that's part of that song, Sitaram, could be, hours and hours of teaching, but at the very essence, this is about the union of holy love. This is about union and holy love. And the Bhagavan Das, who was singing this song that he calls All Alone, is speaking to an aspect all alone. There's a certain name in the Hindu tradition that has to do with being free of the conditioning, being in the space where we are truly one with our soul, with creator, creatrix, and the conditioning falls away, and we are literally all alone. And the song says, all alone, nobody home, only God. Those are the other mantras. And so this will be a song that we use throughout this series because it's a deep invocation. The mantra Sitaram, these seed syllables work in the biospiritual system, and you probably felt some support there. Yeah.
And I remember when I was growing up Catholic, I learned from the Bible where Jesus said, if you want to follow me, you have to leave everything behind and leave all of your possessions, your family. But it's not like abandon everybody, is more like leave behind all of your conditioning, all of your limiting beliefs. Just come with me and release all of that. And when we were talking about this song yesterday, Luminaria said that it's so difficult for us to be alone, to feel alone, because we just feel lonely. And what this means is that in order for us to really feel okay being alone, we must be in this place where we are truly loving, trusting ourselves and not needing anything but to be in alignment with soul. You know, it doesn't mean to renounce and live, you know, in a cave. It just means to be completely in that alignment where you don't need it, and you don't have the expectations of the attachments. And would love to hear anything that transpired for you or that came during a meditation or during this talk. You can unmute yourself, raise your hand if you would like to share, or put in the chat. Would love to take some time and space to hear. Every time there is a share, it's always like, wow, incredible. You thought that too. You thought that too. You saw that too. It's such a, we're here in the field, connecting with each
Point
other.
you may
So
want to get your dominant hand in on the action, and you can. I don't know what's happening here.
something
Make sure.
happened. Oh, Facebook probably. Alone, not alone, ever present with love, God, Goddess. Yes, yes. Yes, see, I think Luminaria raised her hand and started talking. So, so now some of you who are ready to share, please unmute yourselves and speak, or put it in the chat if that feels right. Would love to hear what your experience was and how this resonated. Lacey, you're still muted.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah.
So like there was a couple of different things that happened, but one of the most interesting one, I think it became interesting, especially after Luminaria said it was about union and love, was at one point, like I was walking down this like silvery, like river path thing. And there were like flower petals floating down and everything. And it felt like I kept thinking like marriage, but not like, you know, the traditional, like, you know, marriage, but it felt like a marriage to something like powerful, like eternal, like spiritual, like my spirit. And it was really like, I started crying, but like, it was really cool. Like just kind of walking along towards like this beautiful light that like just felt like, yeah, unification.
Goosebumps.
So.
Total
Oh,
bumps,
thank you.
the angel bumps.
Yes, angel bumps. Thank you. Wow, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's like a marriage, soul in you. Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have time maybe for one, maybe two more people if anybody wants to.
Sarah.
I'll share. Yeah, as soon as the Sitaram came on, that's one of the mantras that I sing in my song circle. And I'm really grateful, Lacey, what you just said. Yesterday I got my wedding dress. I'm getting married at the end of the summer. And as a 55-year-old bride, matrimony to me is about community and about like the union of bringing others in. It's not just my love and my experience of my personal life and what it means to he and I. It is a celebration for the community and bringing joy and that union to everyone's lives. And so I don't know what else to say. It's just that obviously Sita Ram speaks enormous of that holy love and that beauty of life. like still now. Anyway, I didn't know this was going to happen to me, by the way, like that I was going to be getting married at this point. And so it's a personal expression of the mystery and staying connected to the soul, like the greater soul, the beauty of love being possible on many levels. So thank you.
Mm. Love
I
being
feel it.
possible on many levels, right? Yeah.
And co-creating with soul.
Mhm.
So interesting that Lacey, you saw the wedding and then here she is talking about that. Wow, this is what I'm talking about. Co-creating this field and feel it.
Mhm.
And thank you for sharing that, Saraha, because it's inspiring and it's beautiful to witness. Thank you.
Mhm.
Real inspiring.
Yeah.
Mm.
If anyone else would like to share, we have like another couple minutes. Allison.
Allison.
I
Mhm.
just want to say it just felt like when I felt kind of the rain of the sparkly light come down in my body, it felt like this is home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to feel like.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
it felt like a huge relief,
Mhm.
and my whole body like really calmed down.
Um,
And I just wanted to walk in that space all the time.
yes. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Exactly,
I
right?
know.
Like
Mhm.
we can reside there, but
Yeah.
it does in fact require attunement because that is not the cultural norm. And so in the everyday of life and the interactions that we have, there, it's not gonna be an automatic reminder. And that's why we gather like this, why Nancy and I are committed to showing up with you all in this
Right.
way. And certainly creating community, as you were speaking to, Saraha, where when we gather, there is something magical that happens. There is a potency in the field that reminds us. And then when we're on our own, we can carry that more fully, right? It's like we get a turbo boost when we're together. That, carries us.
I felt that too, Allison. I felt that too. I felt the immense love that was so overwhelming, and it was just like bringing me to tears.
Oh, thanks.
Mhm.
I have a real quick bee story.
Be-
We have bees creating a beehive right next to our driveway and our neighbor's tree. And it's been the last 2 days. And this morning, I was walking by thinking, oh my gosh, this is dangerous. Uh, I'm not sure we can get in and out of our car because these bees are going to be swarming, etc. And I was walking with my husband, and then I said to him, this is really good feng shui to have bees around the house. And I said, maybe something really cool is going to happen here.
Exactly. There's the intersection. Soul comes
Yeah,
to
I know.
members. Oh yeah.
And then my mind got in the way, and I text some bee removal places, da 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 da. And then I did all of that research, and then I said, I'm gonna let it go. I've done what I can do. And we came back from our walk, and the beehive was gone. They left.
Whoa.
I
Whoa.
know.
Wow.
It was like we
Anyway,
take care
I'm
of
just like
ourselves.
wowed by that.
Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Oh,
I saw one more hand come up. Did you want to share
Scotty.
something, Scotty? Yeah. To unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how profound this is or is not, However, I just want to say that each time we do this, my cat Bella comes and lays right here with me on my lap. So the sacredness goes out even to the animals, you know,
Yes.
whatever we're creating here is not only felt by us, it's felt by the animals as well.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a field, and because we're all in different spaces, even on the planet, right? We're creating a web of light, and it moves between and through and among us. And we intend in our prayer that this be an offering for all beings. And for
Yeah.
sure, the animals are part of that, and the plants and the rocks and
That's
the
right.
waters,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for sharing, everyone.
Mhm.
So, excuse me, we have a few little announcements, and then we'll
Yeah.
do our clothing prayer,
Yeah.
or our clothing prayer, whatever. That was fun.
Clothing. We're gonna
Clothing
clothe ourselves
prayer.
with this prayer. If you are wanting to share this experience with anyone, I posted the link for people to sign up to our mailing list. So you're welcome to copy that and paste it, or go to the website soulfield.org and share with whoever you think will benefit from joining us. When they fill out the form, they'll get into our mailing list and they'll receive the instructions and the login information so they can join us in the field for future gatherings. And we also have, of course, the Soul Field Facebook groups and the YouTube channels and Instagram. So I'll post all this links there as well. And then our next gathering is going to be, we're doing meditations, live meditations on Facebook, and as well as Soul Field gathering. So the meditations are Wednesdays, the first and third Wednesday, and the gatherings are the second and third, and second and fourth
Sundays.
Sunday of the month. So the next live meditation is going to be on Wednesday, but neither of us can do it in the afternoon, so we're going to do it in the morning.
I'll be on a plane.
For just yes, just for this time on Wednesday, March 3rd,
Six.
March 6th. Sorry, I'm reading 3/6. I'm gonna post this because I'm going to mess it up. I know. So here it is. The next meditation is going to be March 6th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard. The next gathering is going to be March 10th. That's the Sunday. And so on. You can see the dates there, Wednesday, so you can put them on your calendar. And the meditations on Wednesdays are usually at 5:10 p.m. It's a short meditation. But this upcoming one, because Luminar is going to be in a plane, and I don't know if she can join us from the plane, but we'll see. We'll do it in the morning. And then what else? We accept donations, and on your emails you'll see the link to PayPal, and the donations, a percentage of the donations go to someone in need, someone in the community. So if you are someone who would benefit from the tithing of the community, send us a message. It could be a private message or an email, some request that you have, or someone that you think could benefit. Every time you donate, a portion of this is going to go to the community, and it will be anonymous unless, of course, you don't mind sharing. But if you are in need, please let us know. We want to support you.
And
Never
so you
ever
can
struggle.
email us. If you have personal contact with Nancy and I, you can do it that way. But ideally, you can email us at the Soulfield Experience at Gmail. The Soulfield Experience at Gmail. And we've been letting that little pot build a little bit. And so that way there's a little bit to give, more than there might otherwise be. And we're going to start making the offerings. We will collect from whatever the Soulfield Sunday is, and then the offering of the 10% to whomever it goes to will go on the Wednesday. If nobody reaches out, then it will build, and
We'll
Wednesday
add it up.
does. Yeah. So-
Somebody will win the lottery.
exactly. Roll over. But we really, we're really committed to upholding all of you. And we know that in this dimension, one of the ways we energy exchange is through dollars. And
Mhm.
it sometimes is a place where we are in need or even in desire. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to like be in some dire place. And if you are, we want to know for sure. But also, just reach out. This money is to bring support to all of us. Yeah.
Yes. Support each
So,
other.
so we will speak our prayers and complete. We are deeply grateful to have experienced miraculous communion with our holy wholeness in the soul field. We wholeheartedly receive the upliftment of one another's communion and blessed soul light. As we close this formal gathering, we each in our own way will continue dwelling in the soul field and supporting our collective evolution. With deep gratitude, we thank one another and all our angels and guides and guardians. Remembering as we minister to ourselves, we uplift one another. We encourage the magic we co-created to ripple out to all our relations for the benefit of all beings.
Damos profundas gracias por esta experiencia milagrosa de comunión con nuestro ser sagrado aquí en el Soul Field, en el campo del alma. De todo corazón recibimos la elevación de esta comunión y de la luz de nuestra alma bendita en cada uno de nosotros. Al culminar formalmente esta reunión, cada uno de nosotros de manera particular permaneceremos en el Soul Field, en el campo del alma, apoyando nuestra evolución colectiva. Con profunda gratitud, damos gracias a cada uno de nosotros y a nuestros ancestros, ángeles, guías y guardianes de luz, recordando que al predicarnos a nosotros mismos, nos elevamos el uno al otro y alentamos la magia que acabamos de co-crear para que se expanda a todas nuestras relaciones para el beneficio de todos. And now we're closing, and so hold your candles. And as we come to a close and blow out our candles, we intend that if it's in our highest interest to keep the temple of the divine perfection open, we may do so to hold for us what we're not meant to hold, and understanding that everything that happens is in divine perfection. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for being here. Deep blessings to each of you.
See you very soon.